Hi friends and welcome back to another video. Today it is day 73 on hashtag ASR 99 days data science challenge, and today in this video we are going to look at how to create facet grid and PairPlots with the help of our Seaborn package. So here I have already loaded our Seaborn package and I have already imported our tips dataset, and here are the first 5 rows of our tips dataset. And now let's get started. So what is a facet grid? A facet grid is a useful approach to explore a medium multidimensional data by drawing multiple instances of the same plot on different subset of your dataset. So here the subset of our dataset means the columns of our dataset. So let's get started. And in order to create a facet grid, we use the function facet grid. But in order to create a facet grid plot, there are two steps. That is, firstly you have to initialize your facet grid and you have to map another function to it. So let me show you x. Let me take a variable x where sns dot facet grid. Here f and g are in caps, and then the first parameter what you have to pass is your data. So here our data is tips and then the parameter row, and here in this case I am taking smoker, and the column where I am taking the time. So we all know that in this dataset time here is either lunch or dinner. So let's run this out, and here is our facet grid. In order to get a plot in this grid, we need to map a function to it. So let's do that. So here I am going to map it to the same variable. So let me take x equals, and I am mapping it x dot map, and in which I am gonna plot a histogram here. So plt dot hist. So we are gonna use matplotlib. So let's import matplotlib once. Let me insert a cell above and import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and now we are good to go. And here is my hist, and then I am going to plot this histogram based on my total bill column. And now let's run it. Before mapping our function, our facet grid was like this, and after when I mapped our function to histogram, the every grid has been filled with an histogram. So here we can see that we used three variables, that is the smoker, the time, and the total bill. So based on these conditions, whether the particular person is a smoker and he came to the restaurant at lunchtime, his total bills are plotted in this grid, and same for the others too. And as we have used histogram here, we can play with all the parameters that a PyPlot histogram has, such as color, and let's set it to green, and here we got them. And also we can use our parameter bins, and let's change it to 15 maybe, and here they are. And lastly, let me show you another example. So let me take a variable y and then sns dot facet grid, and in which I am calling my tips dataset, and then I am taking the row to be the column 6, and then the column to be my column time, and then I am mapping it y equals y dot map, and I'm going to use a scatter plot here. So plt dot scatter, and in which I'm gonna take my column total bill and tip, because for a scatter, in order to plot a scatter plot, we need two variables. So total bill and my column tip. Oops, it is map, and bingo, we got it. So now let's play around with this parameter. So we have the parameter named the size, and let's change it to 3, and here we got them. And also we can use our color argument and change it to yellow, and we can use our edge color. So edge color, and let's change it to red. So let me change the size to 150. Oops, I forgot equals here, and here they are. And also we can use the line width to increase the size of our edge color. Now let's move on to create a PairPlot. So with the help of our PairPlot, we can visualize the given data to find the relationship between them, where the variables can be continuous or categorical. So let me show you. In order to create a PairPlot, we use the function PairPlot and sns.pairplot, where I will pass in my data tips. Oops, it is PairPlot, and bingo, here we got them. And by default here we have histograms and the rest are the scatter plots. And now when we use our other parameter hue, this histograms will be changed to a KD plot. So let me show you. Hue equals, let's change it to smoker, and here it is. And also we can use our palette over here. So palette equals, let's change it to ocean. And also since we have two variables, I mean the two categorical variables, that is whether the person is a smoker or not a smoker, so we can use two different markers for them. So markers, and let me take a list. Let's use a star for one and an arrow for the other. Now let's run this out, and here we got it. And also our legend has been changed. And by default, when you use a PairPlot, it plots the plot for all the variables. So let's say you want to just look at two variables. So in order to do that, we can use our parameter bars. So bars equals, you have to take a list, and in which, let's say I want to check for my total bill column and the other column, let's say size, and here you got them. And also you can change the plots. And now let's say you want to change the diagonal plots to be an histogram. So in order to do that, we use the parameter diagKind. So diagKind, and now let's change it to hist. Oops, it is diagKind, and here we got them. And also we have another parameter named the kind, so that we can change these two plots, I mean the plots other than the diagonals. So let me get this down, and the kind, and I'm changing it to be the KD plot. And yeah, here we got them. And yeah, that's all for today in this video. And in this video we looked at how to create a facet grid plots, how to initialize them, and how to map them with another function. And then we moved on to creating a PairPlot, and we have played around with their parameters too. Thanks for watching. Like the video, leave a comment down below, and let's meet on day 74.